Hey everyone, it's Kiki, and today I have a very special video for you. A month ago I released this video that I titled The Creation of the Prototype based on an image mob game released on September 10th, 2025, and I got a comment from Stealthy Wealthy 5115. Stealthy brought up the idea that the player was potentially someone involved in the Young Geniuses program, and potentially we proposed the idea of transferring Elliot Ludwig into the prototype, the only body not required to eat, therefore could not suffer from starvation like the others. This may also explain why the player's guilt was so openly expressed through Chapter 3. We not only encouraged, but actively participated in the Bigger Bodies initiative. Stealthy also mentioned a really good point with the death screens. During the catnap hallucination section, we keep hearing the phrase "get up" repeated, and also written in the death screens. Stealthy proposed that perhaps we're infected with the poppy gel as well, and share a hive mind with the prototype, much like we suspect the other experiments do. I really loved this idea. The thought that we share a hive mind with the prototype and that the poppy gel acts as the conduit for that hive mind is a really cool idea, and I wonder if this is where Mob Games is going with this. But I did have another thought. Potentially the things that are written on the death screens are potentially things we heard or said when we were involved in the experiments, almost like flashbacks. Things we heard, like "get up," is potentially something we said to the prototype when he was first created. In real life, after massive surgeries, doctors often encourage their patients to get up and move around so their muscles don't lock up. For example, my dad had a massive surgery when he was a child due to a rare aggressive cancer that attacks soft tissue of the eye socket, most common in children. He had to have many operations, and a mixture of the cancer spreading, radiotherapy, and countless surgeries led to an operation where doctors had to remove bone from his hip and place it in his cheek to give his face structure. You would think that after removing a piece of hip bone that doctors would want you to rest, but in fact it was barely 24 hours later when my dad was instructed he needed to start walking around, as his leg had to learn to compensate for that lost bone and prevent his bones from stiffening and his muscles from locking up. In terms of the Poppy Playtime death screens, us saying "get up" may have been something we constantly said to multiple experiments, trying to get them to learn to use their new bodies. Another death screen says Experiment 1006, "Isn't he wonderful?" Again, I theorise that this could be something we repeated when he was first created, and perhaps when we introduced him to the other scientists. This doesn't sound like something that the prototype would be saying to us in a hive mind situation, unless the prototype refers to himself in third person, which we have seen that he doesn't. And the prototype would have to be rather egotistical, which I don't think is the case either. I believe the prototype knows he is incredibly intelligent and a master of innovation, but do I believe he thinks he is wonderful? That's a bit of a stretch. Even some of the rarer death screens, like "he is loose, this is an emergency lockdown," are potentially things we heard as an employee. "He is loose" could be referring to when Huggy Wuggy escaped. The death screens could also be things we're telling ourselves, that we can't stop, that we need to keep going, that we need to fix our mistake. More lives are at risk than just yours. Get up. There are fates worse than death. Get up. Don't be selfish. Get up. Or potentially it's a mix of the two things we heard and have haunted us for years, as well as things we tell ourselves. Regardless of the reasoning, I think it's a great theory. We haven't done much investigating into the death screens or their meaning, but I do like the idea of a hive mind scenario, even if I don't see much evidence supporting it. In truth, I think these are things we are either repeating to ourselves in flashbacks and recounting the sense of horror we encounter, or perhaps they are our way of pushing ourselves forward, similar to how I sometimes have to push myself to do these videos when I haven't had enough coffee. There's my little theory on the death screens we received in Poppy Playtime. I am hoping that the Chapter 5 death screens help answer some of these theories and point us in the right direction of what these death screens actually are and how they link in with the story. A huge shout out to Stealthy Wealthy 5115 for their theory, and I hope we can get some answers soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your theories down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to think about the death screen messages, and I will see you guys soon with a brand new theory. Bye everybody.